Buying a house with leased solar panels certainly adds a level of complication to the traditional home purchase, but don't let that scare you. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to watch out for, what the process is, and how to decide if you should proceed with purchasing a home with leased solar panels. If this is your first time here, welcome. I'm Lindsay, a proud Anthem resident and your local realtor with the Wise Move AZ team at Realty One Group. On this channel, we have a lot of fun talking about all things Anthem and real estate, and we would love to have you along for the ride. So hit that subscribe button and the little bell icon to be notified when our new videos are released every single Thursday. Before we start, there are a couple of things I want to be very clear on. I am not against leased solar, and I don't want this video to come across that way. I'm simply in favor of doing any and all due diligence before assuming a solar lease, or any lease for that matter. In fact, personally, I think it's really important that we explore and invest in renewable sources of energy. Additionally, with nearly 300 days of sunshine each year, I think Arizona is perfectly suited to making the most of solar power. I also know that purchasing solar panels isn't cheap, and that for most people, leasing solar panels is the only way they can incorporate them into their lives. Anyways, the point of this video is not to go down the rabbit hole of whether you should purchase or lease solar panels. We can cross that bridge another day. The point of this video is to provide valuable information for anyone who's considering buying a home with leased solar panels in place in Arizona. In this video, I'm going to go through 6 tips that will outline the process of buying a home with leased solar, what to expect, and how to do it properly. Let's jump in. Tip number 1, use the AAR Solar Lease Addendum. If you've watched our videos in the past, you've probably heard me talk about just how much I love the forms that the Arizona Association of Realtors puts together. They are incredible resources. The proper name for this form is the Solar Lease/Solar Loan Assumption Addendum. Try saying that 3 times fast. Anyways, this 2-page document is designed to protect the buyer and the seller by clearly laying out their contractual obligations where the assumption of a solar lease is involved. This document lays out the timelines that both parties will be required to adhere to, recommended due diligence for the buyer, and resolutions for possible problems that could crop up as a result of the buyer trying to assume a solar lease. This addendum is essential when buying an Arizona home with leased solar panels in place, so make sure that you're including it in your offer package. I won't bore you to death by reading the whole form here and now, but I have dropped a link to a sample copy of the form in the description box below, so I encourage you to download that and read through it on your own time. If you have questions about the form, don't hesitate to contact me. All of my contact information is also in the description box below. Tip number 2, review the solar system documents. As outlined in the Solar Lease Addendum, the solar system documents include the following. Number 1, the most recent version of the system lease or loan. Number 2, any other solar system documents in the seller's possession. Number 3, the name and phone number of the lessor. The lessor is usually the solar company, like Tesla, for example. As soon as you receive these documents, read them carefully. Did you catch that? Read them carefully. Even though they're boring, even though they have a bunch of legal mumbo jumbo, please, please, please promise me you'll read them. As you're reading through these documents, make note of anything that doesn't make sense to you or that makes you uncomfortable. It's your job to know enough to decide if you want to proceed with purchasing the home with the leased solar panels. If you have questions, I encourage you to call the lessor directly to discuss them. If you're not satisfied with the answers you received, or Or if you have more questions, let your realtor know. Although we're not qualified to give advice on solar leases, many agents will be able to connect you with an expert in that field. Alternatively, if your questions are with respect to the terms of the contract, you may want to consult a lawyer. Either way, you need to get all warm and fuzzy with these documents. If you decide to proceed with the purchase, this lease will be yours. Tip number 3, request electricity bills. It's really important that you request and receive copies of the electricity bills from the seller within your inspection period. Ideally, you want to receive a whole year's worth of electricity bills so that you can see how it fluctuates. Additionally, it's really valuable if you can know a few things about the seller, like how many people lived in the house throughout the year and if they occupied the home all year. For example, if you're buying the home from a couple who are snowbirds, the stats aren't going to be as helpful if you're a family of 5 who will be living in the house all year. That being said, any little bit of information you can get is helpful. You may want to compare the seller's usage to your current usage just for comparison. The key here is that you want to understand the relationship between the panels and the grid and how much you can expect to pay in electricity in addition to the monthly solar lease payments. Make sure that you're comfortable with that amount and that you can afford it. Tip number 4, know your timelines. As with any part of the real estate transaction, it is really important to know and understand your timelines. If you're working with a realtor, they're going to be watching all of your timelines really closely. It's kind of our thing. With respect to the solar lease, there are a few dates that you need to watch out for. Number 1, the seller has 3 days after contract acceptance to deliver all of the solar system documents to the buyer. Number 2, the buyer can disapprove of any items within the solar system documents within 5 days of receipt or within the inspection period, whichever is later. Number 3, buyer must obtain lessor approval to assume the solar lease or loan no later than 3 days prior to close of escrow. Your realtor will be able to walk you through the ramifications of what will happen in the event that one of these timelines is not adhered to on a case-by-case basis. Tip number 5, qualify for the lease. Assuming that you want to proceed with the purchase, it's your job to qualify for the solar lease. The requirements to qualify will vary from lease to lease. My best advice is to call the lessor as early on in the process as possible. Learn what their requirements are and start compiling any information they need. The earlier you can finalize your ability to qualify, the better. If you can't qualify for the solar lease, your purchase will more than likely fall through. So get it done. Tip number 6, research, research, research. This could have easily been tips number 1 through 5. It's that important. But I thought I would save the best for last. My best piece of advice when buying a house with leased solar panels is to do your due diligence. You need to understand completely what it is you're buying into. If you're not sure about something, ask. If you're still not sure about it, bring in a professional. Whether that's talking to a solar expert or getting advice from a lawyer, just do it. Keep asking questions until you're completely satisfied with the answers, good or bad. Some of the things you want to make sure you research are, number 1, insurability of the home with the system in place. Number 2, the age of the system. Number 3, any maintenance requirements and recommendations. Number 4, how well the system has been maintained to date. Number 5, monthly fees and how they change over time. Number 6, any transfer fees. Number 7, the nature of the grid tie-in. Number 8, the lease terms. Number 9, any output and production guarantees. Number 10, tax implications. And number 11, any warranties. There are reminders to research all of these things in the solar lease addendum. Did I mention how awesome these forms are? So if you're ready to grab a sample copy of that form, just click the link in the description box below. So there you have it. What do you think? Are you ready to go through the process of buying a home with leased solar panels? If you found this video helpful, let me know by hitting that like button, subscribing to our channel, and sharing this video with your friends. Also, if you want to make sure that you're truly prepared for buying an Arizona home, then you'll want to click and watch this video up top that runs through common home inspection findings you need to watch out for, or this video on the bottom, which runs through the benefits of virtual house hunting in today's market. Enjoy those, and I'll see you next Thursday.